Welcome everybody to Roundtable Promoting Diversity in Biophysical and Physiological Research. That was the old title. This is the real thing. So welcome everybody. For your information, this session is going to be recorded. So, and everyone who is speaking has given their consent. Hopefully, you have nothing distinctive on your back heads, so you will not be recognized because the camera is behind you, fully behind you. Okay, so first. You didn't let me. So the first speaker is going to be I, when this comes up. And what each one of us wants to share our views, expertise, knowledge, and so forth. And we will do that for about 10 minutes each. And after that, after we finish, there are 5 people, then we will open it for everybody to ask questions and anything that is pertinent to the topic, okay? So my topic is diversity and faculty development in academia. My name is Walter Duran. I'm in the Department of Pharmacology, Physiology, and Neuroscience at the New Jersey Medical School in Newark, New Jersey. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, the reason I'm showing you this is, well, number one, I was born in Chile. I am a citizen of the United States. And the reason I'm showing you that is because when I was only Chilean, I went to the United States and did my PhD at Duke University. So it took me 4 years to do that. I went on, when I was doing my final exam for the PhD degree, I was offered the position of assistant medical research professor. Between question and answer, the time was, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's too far apart. Very, very quickly I said yes. So I became an assistant professor. Then later on, I moved on to New Jersey Medical School, where I was promoted to associate professor with tenure within 2 years. About 3 years after I was already an associate professor, my chair hired a lady who was coming from other institution at a higher salary than mine. So one of my colleagues did a wonderful thing. He informed me what I told you so already about 10 years that I had been in the state. He informed me that I had been discriminated and that I was a minority. Believe it or not, until that time, I demonstrated that it's absolutely possible to live for at least 10 years being a faculty member at a somewhat known institution in the United States without realizing that you are a minority. And that discrimination is one of the things that is perpetrated upon you. So with that, I just want to show you whether everything is discrimination based on ethnicity and so forth. I believe that it is not. It's just human beings being humans. So I want to show you what the current status of the profession is in terms of ethnicity. So this shows medical school faculty by rank and race and ethnicity. This was done in December 2018, and the source is the American Association of Medical Colleges. So there is very rich information, so just to go for the bottom line. In 2007, this stands for African American, this is Hispanic, Latin Americans, Asians, whites. So the overall numbers here, the African American group ethnicity was 3.4%. Now it depends on the way I calculated. The most optimistic one shows that there was an increment to 5.6. The conservative one shows that the increment was only 0.6, from 3.4 to 4.0, whereas the Hispanic, Latin American, actually decreased by 0.4%. Asians are doing very well by increasing to 21% or 21.6, whereas since the whole thing goes to 100, somebody has to yield, and the white ethnicity went from 77 to 70. So there is a discrepancy between races and ethnicity in terms of the population that makes up the medical faculty in the United States of America. Now, if we look at the promised land of tenure, I couldn't reduce this, so sorry for the thing. So I just wrote here what percent, red is male and blue is female. So if you look at professors and look just African American and Hispanics, there is 187 out of 18,000. And for the male Hispanic, 296 of this total of 18,000. Women, females, are 125 for the Hispanic and 93 for African Americans. And this is the percent, this month. 1% African Americans and 1.6% for Latin Americans, and women are not even 1% among the professors with tenure in the United States. I'm one of those, I'm in the 1%. Associate professors with tenure, also looking at Black Americans and Latin American people, it accounts for 1.5, 1.9%. Jorge Contreras is in that group. And women are barely breaking the 1%. So remarkable, very remarkable that the discrepancy. Now the question is this, what are the causes of low percentages for this representation of African Americans, Latin Americans, etc. in academia? Is it discrimination, or is it simply lack of information? As I told you, it is possible to live all your life I did it for 10 years, without knowing that you are a minority, without knowing that you are being discriminated, and you can rise through the ranks. I went from miserable graduate student to miserable assistant professor, associate professor with tenure, and professor. And I only knew when I already had tenure, that I was a minority. So my suggestion, I'm taking the route at the moment that there is a lot of lack of information, that we don't stimulate people in the ethnicity of African American, Latin Americans, Native Americans, and so forth, that were very poor representation. Some of them is because it never occurred to them that academia was a possibility for them. So I suggest that we need to develop a strong pipeline to make young Latin American and African Americans and others who are students to become aware that science is fun and that it is a possible career path, and then they can succeed in academia. So, but before or in parallel with developing this pipeline, we need to enhance our chances of being promoted. So I will talk to the people who are not professors at this moment. The professors, please do not leave. So I guess most of us are in basic science department, so I avoided the word basic science, but that's what this is for. And one thing that we can take advantage of is mentorship, which I refer to collegial interactive research and mission support given by senior faculty members and your peers. And in addition, I think we need to get assistance in writing applications to the almighty NIH for support of research, because NIH is the king. Other federal grants are much preferred over private agencies. My dean doesn't care that you have a grant from the American Heart Association, because what he gets is pretty much nothing. So this is the king. So to do that, I think we need to, or whoever is in that position can promote an interactive grant writing club, if there isn't one, because very few people are born with the ability to write successful and only successful grant applications to the NIH. And also develop informal meetings in the department or your environment to discuss research ideas and projects. Also, in terms of your career, talk to the chairperson about what are the requirements for your promotion. What does the department expect you to accomplish so that you will be considered for the cycle when promotions are implemented. And I recommend that sooner is much better than later. So when you are a young assistant professor 2 years into it, or even when you just set the first foot in the door, ask the chair, what do you expect from me in order to advance in this career? Oops. So this is the world according to Walter Duran. These are the promotion rules. And the promotion rules are, especially when you're going from assistant to associate professor, with the expectation of obtaining tenure. Get one NIH R1 grant. One is good, two is better. The two almost guarantees that you will be loved by the dean, the chancellor, and even the president of the institution. Because again, in my Walter Duran's world, the university is no longer a university, is a business. It's a business enterprise, therefore, the fact that you're able to bring federal funds makes your job much more appreciated by the institution. So the good news is that universities, and by that I mean the promotion committees, are beginning to develop an appreciation for multiple investigators, multiple principal investigator grants. And NIJ started that a few years ago, but universities have not quite gotten up to that speed. What is that? Oh, I have to look at the camera. Hello, camera. No?
It's the red light.
Oh, the red light, thank you. Okay, so much for the good news. The other thing is always practice persistence. This is the study section, and this is the PI. Don't ever give up. Just insist, persist. I discovered by practice that I and my computer can write grant applications faster than NIJs can reject them. So keep on going. So what is better, meritocracy or networking? Meritocracy is the goodness of your work, and I recommend that both are important. Networking happens mainly at national meetings, but it's based on the merit of what you do at your institution. So attend, participate, but don't overdo it. And I'm just going to skip, I think, this one. Everybody knows that research is the most important thing that gets you promoted. Education and service, you have to do it at a level of excellence. And I recommend that, unlike me, you develop a plan, faculty development plan in which you consider what are your careers, and you plan them on short goals for 6 months and 3 years to 5 years. All of this has to do with getting your first NIH grant, getting your second NIH grant, and talking to people who know what are the credentials, what are the requirements that you need for promotion. And with that, and with a salute to Estelle that has promoted me and maintained my career, I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.